Right, so now for some exciting news, I think. It was no secret that Joseph Parker had David Nyika in camp to help with sparring and preparing, and it's also known that amateur boxers around the world have been given dispensation to turn pro before the Olympic Games. So we were discussing with David and his team, Kyra and Stephen, whether that could happen for the December 12, but it was proving very difficult to find an opponent. So a blessing in disguise with the shift to early next year is that we may be able to debut David on the show, and you know, if there's anyone out there that would like to fight David Nyika, please make contact, because we were struggling for the previous days.
Thank you, David. I've asked you to stay with us up as I invite David Nyika to the front of the room, along with Kyra George and Stephen Brown. Welcome, and good news, boys, in getting things across the line. Stephen, if I could invite you to the microphones, and as we've done with our other boxes, just to address the cameras, please. First of all, how long has this process been in terms of getting this dispensation from NZOC and from the Olympic movement?
We've been working on it probably for a couple of months now, and I think first and foremost for us it was no compromise for David's Olympic dream. It's the most important thing for him at the moment. But the rules do allow David to fight as a pro before the Olympics, and we've been working through that process with Boxing New Zealand and the New Zealand Olympic Committee for that past period, couple of months. And we've found a way forward, which is fantastic, and it allows David to fight as a professional on this card before the Olympics and not jeopardise his Olympic dream. So the most important thing was that he meets the criteria of Boxing New Zealand and the New Zealand Olympic Committee. He has done that. He's got one more event to tick off, which is the New Zealand Champs in January. And once he has done that, he can be nominated by Boxing New Zealand and then selected by the NZOC. So that's the process anyway, so it's up to them that they do that. But yeah, thankfully he's able to do both.
Stephen, one final question from me. How much urgency now goes into finding an opponent for David for this fight coming up, his first pro bout?
Well, it's very important. He's obviously needs someone in the ring with him, and being his pro debut, it's a big day for David, and obviously he wants to kick that off in a positive way, but having a good opponent is also very important for the show and the event.
Thank you, Stephen. Stephen Brown, David's manager. David, if I could invite you forward. It's a big difference, as we've already seen today, between amateur boxing and pro boxing. You're looking forward to this, I take it. This has been something that you've had your eye on for some time. Why this fight? Why did you choose the Stonewood Holmes Parker v Farr fight to debut?
Yeah, I think anyone would be extremely excited to be on such a prestigious card. For me, it was a massive opportunity to involve myself with one of the two camps. I did have invites from both teams. I've had plenty of sparring with Junior in the past, and it's been extremely positive. And I think Team Nyika really wants to. Well, we have to spread our legs, So it was a great opportunity for me to train with Joe and work alongside Kevin and Taylor. But yeah, this is a huge card. This is a huge opportunity for me to fight on such a prestigious event. So yeah.
Thanks, mate. And what about training for you? Because you've trained with Joe Parker. Can you give us some insights into how that training's been going, how the sparring was for you personally?
Yeah, the sparring's been incredible. I've really appreciated all the work that I've got from the entire team. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hopefully being back in camp. I think it's kicking off 1st of January, so it'll be a sober New Year's.
For us all. David Nyika, we'll get some questions from the floor, and there will be some one-on-one opportunities with David just a wee while time. But if I can invite Kyra forward to the microphones too, David, well, we've got you here. Kyra, training-wise for David now, we've still got to finalise this date. It will be February or March next year. So what are your initial thoughts around how you train with David heading into this fight, no matter who the opponent is?
Well, first of all, it's going to be hard to top the verbal sparring session that just went on here. So I'm not Eugene Behrman, I'm not Kevin Barry, I'm not going to give you guys too much. But in terms of training, we just carry on as normal. I don't know where the rumours come from about an injury. Me and David are heading back to Hamilton after this press conference and we'll train tonight. So there's no setbacks there. In terms of the preparation and stuff, David's had experience in the World Boxing Series in England, which are professional style fights. They are scored professionally and they fight in professional gloves and gears and stuff. So he's had experience with pro style fights, so he's been there and done that. This isn't going to be too much of a change. With the preparation side of things, even though the amateurs fight 3-round fights, David spars tons and tons of rounds. He's fit for this, so preparation will be just business as usual.
Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate that. Are there any questions from the floor for any of our three guests up front, or you're more than welcome to wait for one-on-ones if you want? Kimberly, do you have something to go with us?
David, if you'd just, Kara's kind of addressed it, but if you'd like to address the clear rumour head on, have you broken your ribs at all?
No, I'm fit and healthy. I think anyone that spars with Joseph is going to come out with a few sore ribs anyway. If anything, I have been tending to a minor injury to my hand that I've kind of had for quite some time now. I used to fight on a broken hand when I was a kid, so it's nothing new to me.
So no significant injuries at all sustained in the process of sparring with Joe?
Do you want to see it? It's okay. I'm fit and healthy. It's all good. What else?
How would a potential professional fight impact at all the Olympic preparations?
If anything, it's going to enhance my performance, and it's going to enhance my, my lead up to the Olympics. You know, I've addressed it a couple of times before, but I was really running on empty leading up to the qualifiers. You know, my motivation to train to, be the best. It was starting to get really hard. So having this goal that is in the immediate future has been really important for me, just to really immerse myself in a new environment. So Joseph Parker's camp has been one of those eye-opening experiences. Just like I was at CKB, I really enjoyed training with their team, and I respect their entire team. And yeah, of course, I'd take every opportunity I can. And having sparred, I'd say about 100 rounds with Junior, I'd like to, get some more experience.
Have you talked about the risks, and if so, what are they?
Of fighting
sort of your first professional fight?
No issues. There's no concern at the moment. Boxing New Zealand has been extremely accommodating, and they've allowed dispensation for me to fight at the Olympics, as well as having a professional debut. From a logistics standpoint, Stephen's done a really good job of making sure there are no unexpected hurdles. So really excited for this event, and my knees are shaking, my hands are shaking from the press conference. So I think it's really added to the occasion.
Do you find it? Oh, sorry. Or how do you go about, separating yourself and what you've got to do training-wise and focus-wise from the kind of the show that we've witnessed earlier today?
Yeah, this is all new to me, if I'm being honest. And I think it's my first taste of the professional fight scene. But like Eugene said, at the end of the day, it's a fight, and that's what us athletes do really well. And I can tell you, it's going to be a really good fight if we get both the guys in the ring at 100% with their A game.
Having had that first taste of what a professional fight is all about, what do you make of it?
It's interesting. Yeah, like I said, I've got the shakes a little bit, but I think it's going to be a fun ride, and I can't wait to experience it.
Do you have any indication, although it's maybe a question for someone else, but how far down the road you are for finding an opponent for this fight?
I have no idea.
So it was all happening really quickly for the December 12 date, and we put approaches and good money to a handful of people, and they were all not keen for one reason or another. And so what we learned quickly that David is regarded as a very tough proposition. So, you know, one silver lining here is that we've now got more time to find the right opponent for David to make his debut.
Sorry, David. I've just maybe
D1 or D2?
D1.
D1.
Apologies, Bob. Maybe just clarify what I was asking before. Is there any maybe risks associated with this professional fight potentially jeopardising your place from a performance
Performance
point
and
of view?
safety.
Yeah.
I guess there's always the danger that boxing is a brutal sport. The gloves are smaller and built more so for hurting your opponent as opposed to you know, the safety of boxers. You know, amateur boxing, we have big soft gloves. It's really hard to knock people out. But professional boxing, they're designed to hurt faces. So that's always going to be a risk, and it always has been. But I'm very comfortable that, you know, I've been sparring, I've been training with professional boxers since I started amateur boxing. The two sports are very, very closely aligned now, and so it's not a concern of mine.
And just to add something to that, I think February being 5 months out from the Olympics is, you know, a nice time period for David to lead into the Olympics, having got his pro bout debut done and dusted. The biggest challenge, I think, between then and the Olympics is actually getting more fighting, getting competition. I mean, the Northern Hemisphere guys are at it all the time now, and we're sort of stuck down here in the bottom of the world with very little competition. So I think the biggest challenge will be heading forward is to making sure David gets good competition between March and July. And so that's got to be a focus, I think, for Boxing New Zealand in particular. And I'd have to thank both Boxing New Zealand and the New Zealand Olympic Committee for what they've done and assisted and helped us getting David to where he is. So they've been fantastic.
On that note, for an opponent for the February potential March fight, does that mean they're going to have to be a Kiwi, or will you look to get some sort of dispensation to bring someone in?
Well, we're going to have to look at all options, I think, and you know, a lot of that comes down to David Higgins, and obviously getting the right opponent down here is quite important, or from here. But there's costs associated with that, so that would have to be taken into account as well. But I think at this point we need to explore all options, and you know, we don't know what COVID's going to bring us in February in terms of having our managed isolation. What that might look like then, hard to say.
Thanks, guys. Rest from the floor now. As I said, David, Stephen and Cora will be available for one-on-one interviews at the front with your various cameras, or for our press radio guys with your microphones. Thank you very much for being here today. David, I'd ask you to remain up front. Stephen and Cora will release you from duties from the front of stage, and we'd ask Joe Parker and Junior Farr just to come back for one quick photo opportunity for those of you with cameras here today alongside David. Ladies and gentlemen, our headline act, Junior Farr and Joe Parker and David Nyika, hoping to make his professional debut at the Stonewood Homes Fight of the Century, with a date still to be announced, hopefully sometime in late February, early March.
Do you guys mind coming up in front of the microphones?
Where is it?
Just get rid of the microphones.
Oh yeah, we can move those.
He's done to eat.
Yeah.
Want them to look further? Right, guys, come in behind.
This is the Andrew Cornaga show here, folks, so we'll let him do what he does best.
Great. There we go. Thank you.
And David, thank you very much for your time, mate. I'll let you shoot off, and you guys, you can start planning your one-on-ones. But Joe and Junior, if you'd like to just stay for one last photo, just one last face-off with Joe Parker and Junior Farr, if we could, for our cameras here today. This fight is still going ahead, and we're hoping to have a date reset for this fight sometime in the next week. So we'll keep you all posted. And again, we thank you very, very much for being here today, as We have released as a recap news that Junior Farr will require surgery tomorrow. He'll have approximately 1 month to recover before being back into training. Joe Parker will take a rest from the boxing gym for the next 4 to 5 weeks, be back into training early January, and the fight's still to go ahead sometime early next year with a date to be confirmed, hopefully within the week. Junior Farr, Joe Parker, still very much a thing, and thanks everyone for being here today. Joe Parker, Junior Farr, thank you. Boys, really appreciate your time. Thanks everyone.